the stories so real, lifting spirits high. In the rhythm of healing, let our words fly. Mind and body reunited, let's take a step.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the THC podcast this week, our very special guest is none other than Dab and
We're
Granny.
all becoming one. In this podcast of life, there's one round the bend.
Hello,
intro.
world. Yeah, I made that a little while ago. It's a place marker. I kind of stole that from THX, but so
But
I'm
it kind of makes an impact. I liked it.
yeah, I got a new intro that'll be on the fully edited version of this show. I worked with AI and created a song, but it's pretty dope. It's about healing and stuff like that. I enjoy it. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the Healing Chefs podcast. I am Ryan, aka the Healing Chef. All sorts of names, crowns, and whatever the hell you call me on these social media sites. But big all the fucking social media sites except for TikTok.
You know, I've never been on TikTok.
Really?
Nope.
I have a little bit of stuff on there. I think I at most I have a 35K view of like an apple that never went brown, and I think you shouldn't eat.
You
But
know what I thought was so funny? So many people freaking out. You know, I seen so many people posted that TikTok was down or whatever. I'm paraphrasing.
right.
But then when it said, you can thank President Trump because he will be getting it back for you. And I guess it's already back. So what I was thinking was, I know there's so many content creators that really despise Trump. So I just thought, well, this
That's
is
funny, yeah.
kind of
Hey, thank God for
funny
Trump.
here.
So sorry.
Actually, I did talk a little bit about that this morning, and I
Did you?
truly do believe that his son, Barron, probably is very influential over Trump as far as social media because I know his son is pretty involved in it.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Even with okay, well, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Dab and Granny. If you didn't know, now you know. Like,
Happy Sunday.
happy Sunday, yeah. Grand risings, as they say, in this community. um, but yeah, Dab and Granny's here with us, smoking up, chugging along with us. Is we were going to do this last week, but life gets in the way. Things happen, but glad that you're here today. Great to see you. If you want to introduce some people that I don't know if they've been living under a rock or whatnot, who don't know who you are, but if you want to just shout out, like introduce yourself, and other than being a giant influence on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all over the internet. You search Dab and Granny, she pops up. Ladies and gentlemen, Dab and Granny, take the floor.
Thank you, Ryan. Nice
Yeah,
introduction there.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing this for about 10 years now. I think I became the face of a cannabis advocate as a senior because there wasn't a lot of seniors that were proud to say, I use cannabis and I'm proud of it. I'm not at all ashamed. So I think that's how I probably became famous or infamous, whatever.
Right.
And then my journey in the last 10 years has been evolving, educating myself, educating others, because I think, when we share all the knowledge we learn, that's what a
Absolutely.
community is built on.
Yeah. KRS-One said it well. He's like, so older people, I just turned 40, who listen to younger people will run faster in the older circles because they'll have the new knowledge. And if younger people listen to the older people, they'll move quickly in their circles because they have the old knowledge.
That's right.
So it's all about community and sharing, and not being well, I've seen it a lot in the industry, not being up your own ass.
Well, you know
Just-
what? Here I think I see the memes about how did I turn into that old person. I really am that old person. I don't feel it. I'll be 70 years old this year. I and I'm like, how did I get this old? I don't. I'm the age I used to roll my eyes at my grandparents, and oh, they're old people.
yeah, and yeah, that's another thing. I brought this up with my girlfriend yesterday. So, um, I've never been this old before. Have you?
No, no, this is
So
this whole new experience for me.
yeah,
I'm learning
so
as we go along.
and everybody who told us how it's supposed to be or set up some sort of expectation of what it was supposed to be, they didn't know what the hell they were doing either. None of us do. We're a bunch of
It's
adults.
not for the faint of heart, though, is it? Getting old.
No, knees popping, starting and stuff. I just get out of a car and pow. I'm like, what was that? So
Walk into the kitchen. What did I come here for? But you know
I'd
what?
do that in the middle of a conversation.
Well, that's a segue right into what we're talking about. I mean, because gosh, I never thought I would live in a time where we can freely talk about the use of psychedelics and the
Mm.
benefits, both cannabis and psychedelics. I mean, I truly, because I have been smoking cannabis since 1969. I've
Ooh,
been
real quick,
using psychedelics. What?
let's go ahead and jump into that the cannabis
Oh,
journey,
okay.
and we'll get it.
Keep me.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So go ahead, cannabis journey. You've been smoking since
1969.
hell
I
yeah,
still will
ladies and
not go.
gentlemen, 69.
That's, but and then I never thought I would live in the time that we can pretty much talk freely about our use of cannabis and how it helps us. I mean, I do believe social media lately is cracking down on all of us cannabis
Hmm.
creators, and it's like, you know what? You used us all to get big numbers on all of these platforms.
Absolutely.
And now you are they shut down my account after 10 years. They shut it down. And when I appealed it, they said, "No, you are disabled permanently." Anyway, my
Wow.
cannabis journey has really been a remarkable one because my husband was in the military and we lived overseas for, oh boy, 9 years.
Where?
Well, we lived in Mannheim, Germany, and
Oh,
then
because
we
I lived
lived
in
in,
Germany.
you lived in Germany too? And then
Yeah.
we moved to Stuttgart, Germany.
I was in Gießen, which was in Hessen, which is in near Frankfurt, and then I
Yep.
was in Schweinfurt, which is in Bavaria
It's
out there.
beautiful there, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. And I had I lucked out and had an apartment that I found on the civilian side, and I had like this walk out square, walk out and around, wrap around balcony looking over woods. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
Were you military or
Yeah,
just,
I was army. But I
and
got married. You know how the younger guys, we got married just so we
yep,
could not live in the barracks.
yep.
Not real adult decisions
But
made by children.
even living in Germany, I continued to get high. Now my husband couldn't, obviously active duty.
I did though.
Well, I have a funny story about my husband getting
Yeah.
high when he was active duty. But and there, when we were there, there was no flour. You did not fight, but there was lots of hash,
Yeah.
lots of
Straight out
hash.
of Amsterdam, probably.
And for some reason, the Germans like those Marlboro Reds that, Americans got a ration card for. And if you didn't smoke, what were you going to do with those Marlboro Reds?
Yeah.
Uh,
Allegedly, they disappeared and then other shit appeared.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how that works.
So then when we moved here in 1993, we moved here to Colorado. And, things were just starting to change as far as cannabis then. Well, my husband was one of the first people to get a cannabis license in 1995. He
Mm.
was done with the army by then. He was
Oh,
medically
yeah.
retired. But we were like kids in a candy shop when we went into a dispensary. It was like,
Right.
can you believe we are here doing this?
Right.
Well, then, of course, I started educating myself more and more and more because cannabis today is not like the cannabis I smoked back in 1969 to,
Mm.
what I smoked back then was called Mexican ditchweed. It was all stems and seeds and it wasn't potent. Where cannabis now, I mean, strains are kind of specifically grown for different reasons, different effects, high THC, high CBD. So
Mm.
that to me is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was working on a military base, but I wasn't active duty. So I was allowed to smoke cannabis, correct?
Yeah, I will always approve it. So yeah, you're good with me.
Well, I had set up a nonprofit in 1998, I think, on Fort Carson,
Mm.
and it was a thrift shop. But we were a nonprofit. And we did lots of good things. Well, this was during the time of back-to-back deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, and yeah, I mean
Mm-hmm.
back to back. These
Yeah, I
guys
went
weren't even
2003 to 2004, and then 2005 to 2006.
and guys were coming back pretty messed up. I
Yeah.
could cry over this.
Yeah, me too.
And the more I was learning about cannabis and my because I knew so many soldiers from running the thrift shop, they'd come in on lunch and I'd get to know them.
Mm.
Well, I would suggest to wounded warriors when they were separating, I would hand out cards to different doctors and say, go talk to these guys before you start ingesting a bunch of pharmaceuticals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that went on for about 6 months, and then the senior command found out what I was doing.
Mother.
Yeah. And I got a call on a Friday when my store was closed, and it said, can you come over? And I was like, oh, sure. Is everything okay? And they said, can you come over now? I went over to my store, and when I walked in, there was the entire senior command and their spouses. I felt like it was the Spanish Inquisition.
And their
And when I
spouses? What are
walked
the
in,
what are the spouses? Like,
this
okay.
was terrible. When I walked in, they said, can you hand over your keys? We'll supervise you cleaning out your desk. And I said, what are you talking about? And they said, you've been replaced. And I said, for what? And they said, you're a drug dealer. And I said, what? And they said, you are telling our wounded warriors to go talk to drug doctors. I said, I know what I can and can't do on a federal installation. I have never brought marijuana onto my store. I would never do anything to endanger this place.
Mm-hmm.
They said, well, we'll supervise you cleaning out your desk. And I said, after 27 years of me doing this and giving you on the average $75,000 every year back to give to your families, you won't supervise shit. I'll clean out my desk. I'll leave the keys here. And fuck you, General, fuck your wife. I mean, I was angry.
Fuck them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
did. I
completely.
cleaned out my desk in tears because this was my passion.
Yeah.
Well, I left, and then the next week I got a letter from the garrison commander that I was banned from Fort Carson. And I said, oh, hell no, I'm not going to go down without a fight.
Yeah.
So I contacted congressmen, and they lifted the ban, and I went back to Fort Carson. And this is how desperate they were to get rid of me.
Mm.
One of my senior citizens seen me one day and he turned white. And I went over and I said, Paul, what's wrong? And he said, my God, I feel like I seen a ghost. And I said, well, what's wrong? And he said, when we went in and asked where's Gail? Where did she go? They told us you died.
What the fuck? See, this is why when I be watching all this
Now, that
stuff.
was 2014, and I would hope that they've come away since then. Probably not, though.
No, they just replaced the same stupid ass people with more stupid ass people to play stupid games and win stupid prizes. That's all the government is, because the smart people are just control the dumb people, and they just keep plug and playing them dumbasses, and then they run them out, and then they're like, as soon as they're done using them, they probably, yeah, everyone just dies.
And the other thing is, like I told you, my husband was a active duty soldier. Well, he's had a lot of issues. He was diagnosed with hepatitis in 1995 before they even knew what it was.
Mm,
And he went through 11 different kinds of treatment, and it really messed him up. And so he was in a hospital bed on the liver transplant. He was on the liver transplant list. They had him on. We again did not know about opioids and all this back then.
yeah.
They had him on fentanyl, long term
Oh,
morphine, immediate release morphine, and then other drugs. Well, he was a zombie. And then
well,
when I
yeah.
started learning about cannabis, I said, no more, no more, no more.
Hmm.
So, because he is 100% disabled, we had to be careful with the VA back in 2013, 2014,
Yeah.
because, he could have lost his benefits. We had a remarkable doctor that said, we can work through this. We're going to prescribe Kevin Marinol. So that
I remember
Marinol
Maryland.
has that Marinol has the same cannabinoids, only they're dirty man made.
Yeah.
But if you get a urinalysis and you're on Marinol, they can't do anything about it. So we never used the Marinol, but we did use cannabis too. It took almost 6 years to titrate him down off all those opioids that they had
Yeah.
him on.
Yeah.
And once he got off all the opioids, started using CBD cannabis regularly, he came off the liver transplant list as well.
Yeah, all this shit helps grow. Like, thank God. Like, I'm happy for that shit. So happy. Because they had me on Klonopin. Well, I threw out my back 3 times in the army, being artillery and having to load those rounds and stuff, bent over all the time. Um, and they had me on Percocets, and I only had a problem because I'm like, I notice I'm not stopping.
Yeah,
And I was looking for other people's pills at the time. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm running out because
We're
I'm
being
just,
honest here, guys. I mean, if we want,
yeah. I
right,
was sitting
Ryan,
there,
that's what we have to be, is
yeah.
honest and transparent.
I was eating them shits like candy, playing video games, having a great time. I'm just like, no consequences. Now, I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna be real honest. I'm pretty sure I was horribly constipated, because that's what a lot of
Opioids will do
opioids
to
will
you.
do to you. I was eating horrible and just sitting around just eating pills, and then finally I was like searching for more, and that's when I was like, oh,
I
I have a
might have a
problem.
problem.
I have a problem. So luckily in my life and my addictions, my like grip on that, like the addiction grip on me, has always been like short lived, because my body's like, oh shit. It gives me good warning signs. I don't know if that's my higher self kicking myself in the ass or whatever it is, but I listen to it and I'm like, okay, I'm done.
You know what, though, Ryan? I think this meat package we live in is a really remarkably fine tuned machine.
Mhm.
And we do have to listen to it.
Yeah.
And it will tell us, oh, you're messing up here. I was
Oh,
brought
yeah.
up. I was brought up Catholic, and they always said, "Oh, your body is a temple." Well, I made fun of that for years and years, but it's true. I mean, not in the churchy way, but your
Yeah.
body is holy, and you do need to take care of it.
Yeah, and just like anything else, like a relationship, the more attention and time you give it, the better things will be. I've been working out, and I need to get back to working out some more. But working out, all that stuff, just moving your body is what your body is meant to do. And that
Yep.
gets rid of so much anxiety. Like, I wish I could tell all these people, like listening, watching, or whatever, all that anxiety that you have pent up throughout the day. It's tiring when you get up in the morning, but if you go and work out, walk, do something, do a little bit of something, get your heart rate up and everything, it sets up the rest of your day, because you've, one, set up your day with accomplishment, and then like your body's moving and stuff like that. And then you're gonna start. I feel like I start making better decisions here and there. So I don't know. Maybe.
Plus, when you are exercising or even walking at a brisk pace out there enjoying Mother Nature,
Yeah.
it's
See.
releasing all those feel good endorphins. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a coping mechanism. Whether I learned that from. I got really depressed a couple of years ago. I mean, really depressed, and
Mm,
so I thought I need to talk to a therapist.
mm.
And I only talked to her for a couple of sessions, and she was powerful. She said, "There's nothing wrong with you. Get off your ass. You get outside. You walk briskly for like 20 minutes." She said, "Not like you're walking the dog." She said, "You get out there and you walk briskly. You think about the shit that you're saying has got you so sad." Next week when we met, she was like, "Did you get off your ass?" "Yes, ma'am, I did." "You feel better?" "Yes, ma'am, I do." "It's
Right.
not so bad, is it?" "No, ma'am, it isn't."
No, and that's another thing when I'm working out, um, all those thoughts that you avoid come up and you have to deal with that stuff. But then when you're working out and your mind's a little bit more clear, honestly, I can hear the universe tell me what the right answer is to whatever I'm dealing with. And I just listen and manifest. And I don't know. I sound a little crazy, but if you
No,
guys
you
try it,
don't.
it works.
Not to me, because I really believe that the better we treat ourselves, the more in sync we are with our higher power. And I don't know what you call your higher power. You
The
may call it
universe
God. That's
or
fine with
God
me.
sometimes.
But the universe, whatever. But I think we all feel we have a higher power. And maybe nowadays we don't like to say the word God, especially if we have been brought up in a strict religious background.
Right.
But I do know that higher power will guide you. And
Absolutely.
and and I say I always listen to the voices in my head. I don't mean the crazy voices in my head. I mean whatever guidance I'm getting.
Yeah. It comes to you. I don't know. I'll just be sitting there and I'll hear an answer and I'm like, oh, okay. I was so worried about that, but this is what we're gonna okay. And then I just go back to what I was doing. And then a little bit later, that shit happens and I'm like, holy
Wow,
shit.
yeah.
And then but I don't tell anybody because I'm like,
Still think I'm
how do I
crazy.
explain this?
But
But
and you know what you said about the things we worry about?
mhm.
Truthfully, when we get through the bullshit and all is said and done, the stuff we worry about and stress and have anxiety over, it's never, ever as bad as we blow it up in here. This is our own worst enemy, is our minds.
Yeah, the prison of your mind is the angle of your perception. Move your perception, and I promise you, you can walk right through those bars.
Yep.
But we'll go ahead and jump into the next segment, which is Trip Tales. Little
Okay.
awesome. So Trip Tales is all about psychedelics. I'm like news, all that kind of stuff. I myself, being a veteran with PTSD, really worked through that stuff with psilocybin and then ketamine therapy. Because I could, for me, the ketamine therapy as a reactive, angry kind of a PTSD army guy, um, I got to be able to sit that demon in the corner and be like, I don't need you anymore. I appreciate like embracing my shadow side because we got to love our shadow side just as much as our light. Because that shadow side protected me in different times and
Yep.
places when I needed protection, but is not necessary all the time and is overt in a lot of cases. So I'm like, you need to chill out over here. I don't need you right now. I appreciate you. So don't be mad at yourself for the things that you've done, but
Oh, no.
know that they're like that. In the shadow part, I was just talking to my girlfriend Jamie about this. The shadow part of me has taught me way more than the light side of me. I feel so.
And we all have, yin and yang, dark and
Yeah,
light.
I really
To
like that
me,
stuff on Duncan Trussell's the gospel something or something. It's on Netflix. Whoops, it's
I
on Netflix.
usually confront that dark side with DMT. I don't use DMT that often, but that is when I'm feeling that darkness, that's when I feel, oh, it's time for a DMT experience. And then when it's done, it's like crawling out of the womb all fresh and
So
he's looking at me like Granny's crazy.
I've done DMT twice, and I never got to the astral projection part. I just got to like the first two stages, and I didn't have any more to smoke. So I was just stuck in like cartoon unzip world,
Oh no,
and
I have gone all the way out there.
so
Opened the doors and gone through.
not me, not me. I think at one point in time the machine elves were throwing every like insecurity that I've ever had at me. They're like, you're not ready for this. Get out of here. um,
You know, the one psychedelic I really, and I've talked about this for a while, I don't think any of us need to mess with peyote. Peyote truly is a sacred plant to indigenous people, and I don't think we need to mess with it. That's just my own feelings, but I do
yeah,
feel very strongly about it.
it,
We have enough other things we can mess with.
yeah. I know
Um,
some people that maybe allegedly might grow their own. But yeah, we don't. Yeah, that's not. I agree. So I grew up with my grandpa taking me to all sorts of powwows and different things like that.
so you are
Uh,
Native, you come from a Native American background?
I'm white, so you know how like the 100,000th million percentage. I don't really know. My grandpa said that his grandpa was full Delaware, but like I have no proof of that. I'm super white, so I'm not claiming really any of that. But we used to go to that stuff. He said his family and I guess my family too, and was part Native American. But we went to that stuff, and that just taught me a lot of stuff, and that's really where I wanted to got my first passion to want to become a shaman and stuff like that, and really want to work towards that. But I got to get that DMT trip going. But yeah, sorry, I just
And you
tangented
know,
there.
back in the day and my husband and I have done a lot of psychedelics. I'm surprised
Mhm.
that we are still functioning, actually. There was one time we were at a Labor Day party. It was out in the woods, you know, a kegger. We were probably
Yeah, dude,
maybe
in the
20,
woods, great.
21. We found a 10,000 lot of LSD. Did we sell it? Nope. Did we
Oh,
share it? Not too much. We tripped almost every day for months and months and months.
how did you? So who? So there's the saying, who who's gonna do the dishes? Did you get the dishes done? Did you like?
Yeah,
How do you?
I mean, yeah, sort of, kind of. The one day, this I will never forget
Oh
this.
shit!
We were so fucking high, and we're just strolling along, you know, enjoying being high. We seen a man fall. You know what a cherry picker is?
Yeah,
You know, a utility thing. He
yeah.
fell out and splattered in front of us, and we were like, "Wow, is this real?" Or either way, maybe we better fucking get out of here. And we left. And
What the?
see, I'm telling you, we've had some.
Fuck. Don't go that way.
So most of the
Shit.
time when we did psychedelics back then, when we were young, they weren't spiritual or anything. They were fun.
No, when I was doing them, I was thinking like with my friends before I even got on the spiritual trip. I was just sitting there going, trying to think like I try to think of something, and you know your mind just won't let you think of what
Oh
you're
no.
thinking about. And I just be like draft pants, and I'm like, that's the funniest shit I've ever heard. Draft pants, and then I'm looking at an aquarium. I'm like, okay, the fish are in a box, the cat has a box, we're living in a box, we're all in boxes. Like, that's how there was no spiritual nothing.
But now it is way different. And
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you, you know, like about, I would say,
Mm.
actually, it was 2019 that we really joined some folks up in Denver. as far as being advocates because of all the benefits. And I live in Colorado Springs. Do you know how many military facilities are around me? So how many veterans?
More than we know, probably.
Yeah, there's and I'll tell you the one thing about my husband's VA provider. We've had him for hmm probably about 25 years.
Mm,
So he knows us very well and we can be very open with him. In fact, the last time we talked about psychedelics for veterans, and he said, they're getting closer and closer to actually saying yes, that the ketamine is approved. But so back in 2019, when I was going to a lot of festivals, doing a lot of traveling, I would take, because this was before there was so many readily available microdoses. I
mm,
would grind up my mushrooms and I would weigh them out and I would make quarter gram and half gram tablets. And as I talked to people, I would educate them and say, try this, you don't
mm,
need to have a psychedelic experience.
mm-mm.
I have never done Adderall, but to me, I think that's what a microdose is kind of like because I know what an Adderall is supposed to do: focus, give you energy. And for me, that is what I need because I'm all over the place, as you can tell.
Me too. No, that sounds good because I even have some more microdosing that I'm gonna do this week that I got from Mushmore, um, from
They're
Jeremy.
wonderful people.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to like tapping in, getting some more different things from them. Now we did, girlfriend and I tried the some of the stuff, but we were trying to macro with the micro, so I just need to figure out. Well, I can figure that other part out,
There's a
but
few. What
but we
kind
could.
of frightens me is because as we are moving along with educating people about psychedelics, macrodoses, microdosing, um, getting rid of your addictions, alcoholism. I mean, this really does help with everything. There's
I
synthetic bullshit out there that they're peddling. So I
Yeah,
I talk about this daily. If you are seeing mushrooms in a liquor store, 7-Eleven, or a head shop, those are man-made synthetics. Those are the things people are having seizures from. Those are the things
people
you
are dying.
stay away from.
Yeah, don't take that shit.
That is
And there's
capitalism
even a
at its
store.
worst. It's
Yeah,
like
there's
that. What was that spice stuff they used to? Was that
K2 and all that shit. Yeah. I remember because I smoked some of that shit and I was like I had some seizures smoking that spice bullshit before
I
and
tried
that's
it once, and all I could do was go, "Man, this is terrible. I just want this shit to stop."
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that's with that all that synthetic shit. You're like plugging like horrible things into a computer that don't work. That don't work.
So
Um,
please, any of you
hmm,
that see that at your 7-Eleven convenience, any convenience store, your liquor stores, or your head
smoke
shops,
shop. Yeah,
please don't purchase that.
don't buy that
Um,
shit.
if you DM me, I promise I will send you to a reputable source, and
Same,
we can
same
talk.
here. Same here.
I mean,
Someone hit me up recently, and I sent them right to who they need to. Now I don't do it.
something.
I can't help you myself. We're doing a podcast here, but
No, no,
I
no. But
definitely can help find someone that can help facilitate whatever.
the one thing we didn't talk about when we were talking about the cannabis journey is how important the RSO products are nowadays too.
We
I'm
just
gonna
made some banana bread last night. Well, okay, I didn't. My girlfriend
Your
Jamie did.
girlfriend did.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
I met a
Before I
young
take credit
veteran.
for it, jeez.
I met a young veteran about actually it was right before Christmas. And we got talking and we talked about his bad dreams and using alcohol to numb the feelings and not being able to smoke enough cannabis to make yourself feel better. And I said, I'm going to hook you up with some people.
Mm.
So I did. He tried the RSO gummies. He said he would eat the one RSO gummy in the daytime and two at night, and he slept without bad dreams.
So did
That's
I last night.
remarkable. You, Ryan. You know how important that is.
Yeah, I don't want to cry right now, but yeah,
So,
it's rough.
and then
It's rough.
I've hooked him up with much more. So I'm like, if we truly microdose correctly, We are rewiring the neural pathways in our brain.
Sorry, I was looking over at my girlfriend because that's I just said that the other day. And that's one of the last things I want to end on the trip tales. That's one of the biggest things that I've learned from my psychedelic use, especially shrooms, psilocybin, is it regrows the neural pathways and helps you learn new shit, new things. It starts connecting shit that wasn't connected, starts reconnecting shit. I think that we're gonna see in the future that with psilocybin, lion's mane, cordyceps, all those different
Cordyceps, reishi,
reishi,
yes.
all that kind of stuff that we're even messing with, is going to help with Alzheimer's and all that kind of stuff to rebuild that shit that our whole society and the food that we eat and everything that's destroying our brains. That I think we can rebuild with like shrooms and stuff. So
Well,
I'm
Ryan,
hoping
that's what big pharma is all about. They're not in the business of getting us better. They're in the business of keeping us ill so that we stay on their
treating symptoms,
stuff.
not the issue.
Not the issue correctly.
All right, so we'll go ahead and jump into the third segment, which is mental health is wealth.
Okay.
All right, and we're back. We didn't go nowhere. Excuse me. And that's what I get for that. That's just random old man cough. Just, ladies and
And he's
gentlemen,
not even smoking.
no, no, that's the fun part. That's the fun part of being older. Just shit just happens weird. I just popped my knee. What were you doing? Moving. Just trying to stand up.
Yep.
Awesome. So, mental health is wealth. Dealing with being older. um, lately, like we're all going through crazy shit. Like social media is insane. I hope we start to like. I wish we would start to learn. Like everyone's worried about TikTok and all this kind of stuff. I wish we would learn that we were here before social media. Like we'll be here after social media. When social media goes away, your world doesn't die. I don't know. Like as much as I put into like Instagram and all this stuff, if it all goes away tomorrow, I'll rebuild it and do it. I enjoy what I'm doing.
I
So
do
I
too.
and I'm not making any money doing it right now.
Me either.
So it's not like I wouldn't be losing anything. So
Do you know? I know there's a lot of people on Instagram and other platforms that when they
mm,
lose their accounts, they freak out. I
yeah.
mean, they freak out. So I had 1.3 million followers on Instagram. I was
Yeah.
one of the first cannabis creators to get the check mark.
Mm,
So was I sad when they took my account? Oh, yes.
yeah.
But it didn't define me.
No.
I never was there to make money like other people. I just wasn't. I'm there to spread knowledge, have fun, show
Hmm.
you different things. So it takes a lot of energy to build your social media account up. I don't think I
It
have
does.
it in me. I don't think I have it in me to try to rebuild. I still have a Facebook account. I do wake and bake every morning. We read calendars, and you say, this is our segment for mental health. People tell me that that hour that we sit there and smoke and tell jokes and read goofy facts off calendars, that's their hour to just let go and not think about some of the heavy things we got going on in our lives and in the world right now.
Absolutely. That's and shout out to you for that
That to me, that's like the
and
biggest
building that
compliment
community.
anyone could give me.
That's what I'm learning. Like when I first started in this cannabis industry, especially out here in Arizona, like I wanted to be a YouTube reviewer, right? I know a lot about weed. I know a shit ton about strains and stuff. I know lineage. I know histories. I know all sorts of stuff. I wanted to be the one of the most educated bud tenders, and I am in the state. And like I wanted but I also started wanting to do the reviews as like a status symbol. But as soon as I wanted to start doing it, they like knocked that off on YouTube. They're like, no. And then I was like, okay, well, can't do that. So I started doing like different pictures and stuff on it's now called the Healing Chefs podcast. That whole one. That was my original just my personal page, but I switched it over to this. If you scroll down, there's a bunch of reviews on concentrates, flowers, all sorts of stuff. But at that time, I was even in my head like, I'm I'm somebody. I'm doing this and this in this cannabis community, and I've never been anywhere close to 1.3 million, or really 10,000. I've never been even close to like 5,000 or anything like that. But I in my little community in Arizona, if you get about 2,000 people with cannabis, you're doing pretty good. And I've been about 1,600 and so on and so forth for a while. I've been controversial. That's why I didn't get to 2,200 or whatever, but that's old Ryan. But anyway, like all this kind of stuff, like with all that kind of built my head up and my ego and my idea of what things should be. And then I got to a point and I'm like watching everyone get all their stuff knocked down. And I'm like, well, we got to find a different path. And so that's when I thought like the podcast and all sorts of different things. But as I was trying to transition over into the all the attention I was getting doing the reviews from the different companies and then all the people, I was starting to realize, oh, I was working for free for them. They enjoyed that shit, sharing their shit because I'm advertising for them. And then those that were liking it and all that kind of stuff, a lot of them really don't give a shit. They're just there just to doom scroll. So I started trying to find what I was looking for in the community and myself. So that's what I think a lot of people need to do with social media. Right. Sorry, that was a long way around.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you because it's never gonna scrolling and looking at other people's lives is never going to fill in you whatever it is you're looking for.
Yes.
You are the only one that has the answer. And I guarantee you it's not what you're scrolling on your phone. Like
Or
people say to me,
uploading
"Oh,
or
you
whatever.
never cough." I'm like, "The hell, you just don't see me shut off the camera and then cough up a lung." So,
I,
I mean, you hear this all the time. The things you
Mhm.
see on social media aren't necessarily real life.
No, absolutely not. Like when I first started in the industry and I was putting all my cupcakes, I make a lot of medicated cupcakes, little fun stuff. Even like little pumpkin spice latte, and I have like the little green straw that makes it look like Starbucks and stuff. Like
And you
so
use RSO in your products as well, correct? Didn't
now,
I hear
well,
you?
I used to. Nowadays I've been more using more hash, so let no solvents and stuff like that, but
Yep.
RSO or hash. Um, I don't know. I just
Anyway,
tangented out of that one. Shoot, what was I saying about the edibles? I don't know. Oh, shit.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't
No,
have
I did
interrupted
see.
you.
This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. I do this shit all the time in the middle of a conversation. Let me see if I can find my way back to it.
I know we're supposed to be talking about things that
All the
we do to
the
keep.
cupcakes. Okay, so it's like
Oh,
someone was saying like, oh, she was a chef too. She's like, you show all your beautiful stuff. I'm like, you just see the stuff that I show you. Like you don't see the
you don't
fuck
see the
ups.
fails or.
You don't see the fail that I did that I had to throw all away and then go to the store, buy everything all over again, come back and make it again. Like I don't show you that because that's not fun.
No.
Nobody wants to
Nobody
see.
wants to see your cupcake that's leaning to the side like
Yeah,
this.
and when you're trying to build a brand and you're all up your own ass and you're like, I can't show that, I can't show that, I can't show that. So yeah, so nowadays even in the clip sometimes there'll be a misspelled word in my captions or a mess up here or there, but I leave that shit because my
But aren't
life's not
people
perfect.
quick to jump on that?
Actually, no one says shit.
Good.
I've been trying to get them to say shit by leaving shit in there.
And they don't.
I've been trying to hate bait.
Brian, don't you think that that lockdown was like a huge social experiment that did a lot to people's psyches? People during that lockdown were returning to their choice of addiction, abusing all kinds of stuff because we were locked in our house. I will forever say that was the biggest social experiment we as human beings have ever been put through.
Yeah, they were just seeing what they can get away with.
And I think it was after that that we as human beings started saying enough. We're going to put boundaries. We don't care if you're the government, our neighbors, our spouse. We have our personal boundaries. We
Yeah.
started learning more and more about our own mental health.
Yep.
And all of this came about. So maybe that made us better human beings.
Oh yeah, it backfired on them for sure.
I think
Um,
so.
yeah, I think so because we all like yeah started looking around and like looking at our jobs. And we're like, wait a minute, we're doing what for you? What do we get to keep doing this shit? I don't think so. I don't think so.
No.
So and then now AI is going to change so much shit. So we got a lot
You
to look
think for the
forward to.
better or the worse?
Both.
It frightens me.
Well, does it?
Because remember,
Mm,
when Kevin and I went to see 2000 and what, A Space Odyssey,
can't do
and
that,
that
Dave.
computer took over, ha ha ha, oh, that's never going to happen.
I'm sorry, I can't
Here
do
we
that,
are.
Dave.
We talk about this. This is my analogy because my husband and I are like, wow, we laughed and said, that's never going to happen. And here we are.
Well, I think there's going to be good and bad, just like in all things. But I want to put my brain in a robot, so I'm going to live forever. Um,
But again, we have to tell people do your own research too. Don't believe everything you're told and everything you hear.
yeah, I think it's gonna. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I feel it's gonna get out of hand pretty quick. Pretty quick.
Do you really?
Um,
All this drone stuff.
well, so then they got the drones and everything, and like, did you see recently? They're like yesterday, News Nation actually put out a video of a retrieval of a UAP. So it's a helicopter carrying some sort of egg shaped vehicle that's about 20 foot long, and they set it down, and they have it
Where
somewhere.
was that?
It doesn't. No, I read the story, watched the story. It's on YouTube. Just look up News Nation. And it's a night vision video, but they kind of talk about it, but they don't. I don't think they ever say where it was at. But the guy that is whistleblowing on that was part of the team that actually got it. So, and what they're talking about now is he said he had a psychic connection to whatever was controlling that egg shaped UAP. And he's talking about that we have this is probably blowing people's minds or they're just cutting out, but that we have people that work for the government and stuff that are psionic, that are psychic people.
Oh, I
and
believe that. We also
and
have reptilians, and I know people laugh at me. My
no, I
husband
know.
used to be one, and now he'll look at certain politicians and he'll be like, I think that's one of them reptilians.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, I
yeah.
know you guys are probably like, oh, Dale and Ryan, they must be on too many psychedelics right now. I'm not on any psychedelics
I'm
right
not on
now.
any right now either, and I'll tell you this much: psychedelics are just like technology. Psychedelics are computers. Psychedelics are as is from like computers are to the internet. So I feel psychedelics are the
To
technology
our
to
little
get
computer.
to the Akashic records and all that kind of stuff.
Now,
So
do you think everybody listening to the podcast knows what the Akashic records are?
they can
Are your
Google it.
followers that informed? Oh,
No. But we can inform them slowly. We're slow dripping the knowledge to them.
because I've known about them for a long, long time, and I'd like to see my own records. And supposedly there's people that can show them to you.
Yeah,
But then,
that's
it
psionic.
frightens me because we're in such a world of scammers. You pay someone and then you know what I'm saying.
I think what is something again, a girlfriend and I have been talking about is intuition. And she's right. There's a difference between anxiety and fear. Then
Oh yes,
intuition.
a big
Intuition
difference.
comes to you calmly. Anxiety comes to you scared. So I
That's
think that
very true.
yeah, she's very smart.
And
I think
anxiety does not protect you. Fear will
I
protect
did
you.
amazing.
You did amazing. How
Yeah,
long have you
really
been
smart and she's
together?
really pretty. Huh?
How long have you been together?
Little over a month, about 2 months, going about month and a half at least.
Want to hear
Yep.
something amazing?
Yep.
January 24th, I'll be married 50 years to the same man.
Way to go. Way to go. You guys have to
Kind of
celebrate.
crazy.
Yeah, that's
And
not,
you know how we're going to celebrate it?
you gonna take psychedelics?
Of course, there's this hot springs out in the middle
Just
of
like that is the easy part.
there's a hot springs out in the middle of nowhere, and you can spend the night in an Airstream uh, camper, and they
You're
have a
speaking her
little
language.
setup that you can do your psychedelics and watch the mountains and the stars, and you can get in the springs, and it seems like the perfect date night to me.
Hell yeah, that sounds dope. Yeah, we're gonna be going to Sedona here, uh,
Oh.
first week of February. So yeah, we're gonna allegedly do some.
I
um,
heard her cute laugh in the background.
awesome. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and jump into the last segment, which is plug talk,
Okay.
and we'll. All right. So Plug Talk's all about promo where they can find you. Obviously,
Okay.
IG, Facebook, all that stuff. The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, I'm not a plugger. I'm just that's not me.
Oh
But
no,
if you're
Plug Talk
looking
is
for me,
just
if you're
promo.
looking
This
to find me
is just a play on words.
on Facebook, I'm Dabbing Granny. On Instagram, I'm Dabbing Granny underscore.
Mm,
That's it.
heck yeah.
I'm not looking for fame or fortune. Been there, done that. Now I'm just about shits and giggles and spreading a little knowledge.
Shits and giggles and dancing, doing wiggles. But wait,
Yep.
wiggles is a thing. Never mind. I was just trying to
I have
wordplay.
nothing to promote.
Yeah, you do.
I'm
Like,
sponsored by
come talk to you. That mental health, like the smoking and the like the wake and bake, that should promote
Oh
that
yeah,
so
that. Oh
everybody can
yes,
come.
I do. But there's no set time. They just know
Oh,
that she's going to show up. They just know I'm going to show up after. It's usually about 9 o'clock in the morning, Mountain Standard Time, on Facebook or Instagram. I tried to go back to. I have a YouTube channel as well,
hmm
but the vibe over there just is
it's
kind
rough.
of.
It's rough. The
Yeah.
algorithm is insanely rough. I
The
have to do it.
people that show up on the lives, their comments. I mean, they're not rude. They're just like
Oh yeah, I feel like that we're working with dead internet or something because I feel like there's so many bots.
they're
'Cause you don't,
horrible.
some shit doesn't even make sense, and then you just see there's a bunch of arguing weirdness over stuff. But yeah,
I want social media to realize, you know what, when we smoke our cannabis, it's no worse than that person sitting there drinking their whiskey or whatever, or the girl showing their OnlyFans
yeah,
club or whatever you call it.
there's
Come
so
on now,
much.
we're
Yeah,
adults. And if you have to make a platform that is strictly for adults, then do it. We're
yeah.
not trying to influence kids with our talk about psychedelics and our talk about cannabis.
Mm-mm.
We are adults and we behave accordingly.
Right. Quit regulating my fun.
Do- I do feel that way. The internet used to be about free speech, and I've tried to always be respectful, knowing there might be children out there, but
Yeah. There is never I have yeah. These people they just whatever excuse to just keep people down. But yeah, absolutely. Fucking-
so hopefully 2025 is the year. Maybe our government will finally reclassify cannabis. We're coming so far with psychedelics. I'm looking up at my microdoses. If you're wondering, what is she looking up there for? Or we just need a little healing vibe.
There we go. Hell yeah. Always healing chefs.
Oh, that's right. The healing chefs, and it is all about.
So
So
real
is
quick, so
did the
everyone knows I
healing
was a chef for like all the concerts in
I
Vegas
was
and
just going to ask you, did the healing chefs come about because you make medicated?
I do that stuff, but I was also a chef. I've cooked for every like rapper. I've cooked for Queen. I've cooked for Hall and Oates, Kendrick Lamar, Travis Scott, Jay-Z,
Yeah.
Slayer, Metallica. I could keep going for a long time, but Rob Bass, TLC, all sorts of different things.
Did you
But
enjoy that?
oh yeah, and I was I thought I was more important than the bands, to be honest. When I was there, everyone was like, "Oh my god, they're here." I'm like, "I'm pretty important
Well,
because if
I'm
I
pretty
don't cook,
damn
you don't
dope,
eat."
huh?
So, so that was big ego Ryan back then
Do
for
you
sure.
ever
But I
spot
had a lot of fun. But I
Ryan, you don't seem like you have a ego at all. So,
oh,
whatever has transpired
he's
over the
there.
years, you must be a different person.
Oh, I'm absolutely. I did a 180. I about said 360, but then I'd be the same person.
Do you do any of those like different course infused meals where the chefs make you fancy meals? Do you ever do those in Arizona? Because I have a Chef Whitney over in Manitou. It's a Airbnb, a smoke place. But you can go over and Whitney, it's his meat from his beef up in Woodland Park, and it's all infused. It's nice, fancy, schmancy stuff.
So I've been in talks with some people to do that here coming up. So yeah, I've been working. I
Good for you.
Yeah, so that's in the works. You just brought that out. But
See,
yeah.
you know why? Because we're in tune, like we said earlier. We
Yeah.
synchronicity here.
So yeah. But yeah, and I'll probably start making some other stuff soon, so maybe we can figure something out. But shout anybody else you want to shout out or anything before we go? This has been
No,
dope.
thanks for having me.
Hell yeah, we're gonna stay in contact. I'm gonna be in more
I'll
of
come
those.
back anytime. Anytime
Heck
you
yeah.
want me to come back. If you want to show my glass, I'll show you my
Ooh,
glass.
yeah, that'll be another. That'll be the next one. We'll do like smoke along, do something, or maybe you and I'll go live or something like that. Because can't really smoke here, but I can smoke wherever I'm at. So we'll figure
Okay,
out
I tell you,
something.
I get a better response on Facebook when we go live.
Okay,
Isn't that weird?
I need to get that the Facebook going for
Get your
my.
Facebook back. I'll tell you something. I know this is a fact. When we all started on our different platforms as cannabis creators, we focused mostly on Instagram and Snapchat, correct?
Yeah.
There's a lot, and everybody was like, Facebook is for old people. Well, there's a lot of people on Facebook that are just so hungry for knowledge, period, about cannabis, psychedelics, coping mechanisms,
Mm,
breath work, everything that you and they wanted to see our podcast today. So, Facebook, there's a
okay.
whole lot of people there
I do
that
have a page. I just haven't given it any attention, so I will do that now.
I promise that if I say go check it out, they will come and check because I still have my million followers there.
There you go. There you go. Awesome. Well, well, I think your IG is gonna grow, but maybe just Facebook's the new wave.
Oh
Who
no, I
cares
don't think it is. I don't think it is.
for you?
I think, and I've never gone on TikTok because you can't smoke, and it's what I do.
Yeah, you can't say cannabis. You can't say nothing because I've been flagged too many times with my one thing. But
And
all right,
I'm not gonna let myself get frustrated, and that's what would happen.
no, no.
All right. Well,
All
I
right,
hope the podcast turns out okay. Thanks for
it'll go
having
great.
me.
It'll go
Yeah.
great. Yeah, this is. I have so many people excited to see you. They're like, "No way." I'm like, "Just yes way."
You can thank Jeremy for that. He's a good guy. I
Yeah,
really,
he really is.
yep.
And I will shout out to you, Jeremy. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming, Dab and Granny. This was absolutely amazing. You're an amazing person.
The
If you
time
get,
went quick.
yeah, if I could talk to you all day. If and we'll talk more. If you want to do any podcasts in here, just hit up habarientertainment.com, Habari Entertainment Studios. Shout out to everybody, Revelry, uh, High Vibrations, Arizona, Hades Cannabis, all you guys on the here. Shout out Dab and Granny. Shout out you listeners, watchers, everything. Love you all. Tap in, smoke up, trip out. See you
Peace
later.
out.
Yeah.
With love and compassion, we'll find our way. From the battlefield to a